Hello and welcome to the next stage of the van build. So now that it's all prepped and clean and I've covered the rust on the floor and hopefully it is ready to go. So first up we're going to do sound deadening and then insulation, and then we'll see how long that takes and then go from there. Okay, I've gone for these Dodo matte sheets. I thought it'd be easier than like a big roll. So I'm just going to stick these to all of the big panels. I'm not going to go overboard, to be honest, because I've only got 30 I believe, or maybe it's 50. Let's see if we did the order. Yeah, 30. So probably going to cut most of them in half and then put like half on each of the little panels like that. Okay, I'm not sure the GoPro sound is going to be the best quality, but I'm going to do a little test for you. So I'm going to knock on the side of the van without it, and then once I've got it on, I'll do another test and we'll see if there's any difference. So it's pretty echoey. Let's see how it's like with it on. Definitely gets rid of the echo, but you really don't need to plaster the whole wall in it because these things are pretty heavy, so you definitely don't want to cover your whole van because that would add a lot of weight to the van for no reason really, because by the time you get the insulation and everything else on, that's definitely going to get rid of some of the noise as well. Okay, it's time to do the insulation, and this is going to be the longest, most time consuming part. So I've decided to do the same thing that I did in my previous van. Obviously it was a lot easier in the other van because it's a bit smaller, and I'm using this. It's like a roll of kind of foam. One side is sticky, one side is shiny, so the idea is that it reflects the heat back inside, and it's just really easy to use because you just stick it to everywhere. So what I did in the caddy was I stuck this to pretty much every surface, and then in some of the deeper cavities, so like in this van it'll be in the bottom, I'll use some recycled plastic insulation as well as an extra layer. So I'm going to get started with this, and hopefully I've got two rolls. It's a 10 metre by a metre roll, and for my little van I only needed one of these, and I'm already thinking two isn't going to be enough, so we'll have to see how that goes. Insulation is going well so far. I forgot how fiddly this process is, trying to get into like these little crevices where there's just like bits of metal sticking out everywhere. It's a bit of a pain, but it's obviously not perfect, but I'm just trying to cover as much of the outside metal as possible. So like up the top pretty much all of it's covered, and down as low as I can get it really. And then this bit was outside metal, so I'm just going to cover that. And then down here and up here I will be adding extra like recycled plastic insulation. So yeah, that doesn't need to be perfect, and we'll see how much I've got left. Maybe I'll be able to do another layer on the top because that will be easier, and that's what I did in the other van, but that's going to use a lot. First I need to do the ceiling and the floor because that's going to use up a lot of the insulation. So yeah, I'm doing pretty well so far. I think next up I'm going to do maybe the wheel arches, see if I've got time today to do the ceiling. And yeah, I'm not really sure like whether to kind of cover these bits or not, because I still want to obviously I need to add some like framing to put the walls on, so I don't think I'm going to go all the way yet, but I'll try and save a bit for at the end so I can kind of add some extra in those bits once I've drilled in the battens. The insulation is almost done. I've just got a few more bits to do. I haven't been filming a lot because it's very tedious and repetitive, and I just wanted to get it done. I didn't want to just be filming it. So I just thought I'd talk a little bit about it now and what I've actually done. I've gone for the very controversial no vapor barrier option choice. I just think that in a van you can dry out the insides of the van quite a bit, so even if you are getting condensation in the walls, it's going to dry out at some point. So I really don't think it's necessary to try and create a vapor barrier when it's kind of inevitable that you're going to get some holes in it somewhere along the line. So that is what I've decided, to keep it pretty airy but still have a lot of insulation, and hopefully it'll keep me toasty and warm. So down here I've got like a layer of this insulation on the back wall, like in the outside, and then I've got this, and then if I've got any insulation left I'm going to do a whole nother layer, which is what I've done here. So I've got this on the outside, recycled plastic insulation inside, and then this over top just to mainly stop it from falling out, but also as an extra layer. The ceiling is also done up here, so I just thought I'd show you a little bit. So I've just cut these to size, stuck it in, and Bob's your uncle. Hopefully it's warm enough. I was going to fill these little cavities and the beams with some of the fluffy stuff, but I really don't think it's necessary, so yeah. The insulation is now all finished, apart from a few little bits that I might add to the doors once the windows are in. So next up is clouding the floor. Well, I'm going to make a separate video on doing the floor. So that's the end of this video, the end of part one. So happy for it to be over. It actually didn't take as long as I thought it was going to for all of the insulation. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2 of the van build.